Tempo Storm once again going to pull out something interesting here, and Reformed on the blind, going to break out the Flappers Rogue. Let's get these gates open.
Interesting. So I think Tempo Storm was looking for that jungle counter comp with the Shadow Priest Paladin, but Reformed kind of reading the situation, switching it up. They're going to be playing Paladin Rogue Mage instead.
Yeah, I don't know how this matchup is going to play out entirely. This is not something we've seen at all throughout the first season. We can see an immediate fear on Flappers during his Vendetta. It was a nice peel from Alec early on to try and reduce the pressure. Gelu's trying to make a play, blinking in for a Polymorph, but interrupted by Nixie. Now Relza will push in and land a Hammer of Justice. They're looking to try and get Dispersion from Alec, which is an important defensive cooldown for the Shadow Priest. They need more crowd control on Minpoike if they're going to secure that cooldown. Yeah,
Gelu needs to be landing these Polymorphs onto Minpoike if they want to get any sort of pressure, and there it is, the full Polymorph onto Minpoike. Can they get the damage over onto Alec? Looks like he's fine for now. Nice peels coming in from Nixie. He uses the Vendetta as well, trying to pressure down Gelu just a little bit in this situation. Not the worst start for Tempo Storm, but a nice fear coming in from Alec. He's trying to keep himself alive, and Minpoike trying to heal through some of this damage with that Wings. Now full Hodge on Minpoike. This could be the Dispersion coming in from Alec, and they do finally pull it out.
All right, so Dispersion and Blessing of Sacrifice has been used from the side of Tempo Storm. They are running out of cooldowns to deal with the attacks. The next stun, Alec may need to use his Trinket and Void Shift to switch his health bar with one of his allies as he's dipping dangerously low with his healer caught in a full Polymorph. He's looking for a Mass Dispel on it. He clutches it out, but Divine Shield was still forced, and Alec is dangerously low. A full Repentance has been secured in reverse onto Relza. Unfortunately, ended up being pre-sacrificed, I think, so Relza got out of that crowd control for free. Now Minpoike has basically got no cooldowns. If we look below his frame, Alec only has his life swap, which he can use at any time, but after that, it's not looking good for Tempo Storm.
Yeah, Alec's going to be in so much trouble. Gelu's still looking for that CC. Full Polymorph secured on him in Minpoike. Alex is line of sighting. Nice Blessing of Protection coming in. That's going to maybe keep Alec alive, so he might not have to use that final Void Shift. Dispersion about 30 seconds away as well. It's getting lower and lower. Dragon's Breath on him in Minpoike. Are they going to make a swap over onto him? Doesn't look like they're going to bother, just allowing Alec to get that Void Shift off. Minpoike actually gets locked out. Alex is still in so much trouble with that kidney shot.
Gelu at the same time.
Yeah, Gelu's getting low as well, but he has the Temporal Shield. He has the Ice Block. It is going to proc. Alec is the one that is for sure in trouble.
Yeah, and I think this could just be the end of the game with a full Polymorph secured and nothing left. The kidney shot isn't going to be enough to peel them away. And Reformed with the counter pick of a counter pick are going to win the blind pick in the first round. And as Zika was going through in the rules, it's so important in a matchup like this where the teams can switch their compositions at any time to get that first game advantage. Because likely we're going to go into the second game, and now they're not going to lock in the Fire Mage Assassination Rogue, I don't think, blind. But that was a nice read by Reformed.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about, Reformed.
Cloaking offensive here and kind of defensive as well, and they're going to be looking to set up that kill right here. So you can take a look at that. Gelu is going to go ahead and blink. He's going to land that full sheep onto Minpoike and going to sit that kidney for a second, but the melee wings
locked down that spot at BlizzCon, constantly trying to innovate, but now they are on the composition that got them their ticket to the finals at the end of the year. Will Tempo Storm be able to counter comp them on Ruins of Lordaeron?
Yeah, as you said, Rich, and this is the first time we've seen Alec in this tournament, and he's going to be showcasing on the Shadow Priest. Obviously not doing too well in the matchup against the Rogue Mage, but Shadow Priest is supposed to do well against Hunters. They can use Mass Dispel to remove the Freezing Trap crowd control, and they're very durable against the physical damage in Shadow form. So we're going to see a lot of Vampiric Touch casts. All these are damage over time effect spells that also heal the Shadow Priest, so he's kind of like a vampire in that sense. We see some crowd control on Minpoike. This means they're going to initiate damage onto Alec and Nixie and try and cleave them both down. Minpoike preemptively used a Blessing of Protection on Alec to protect him from physical damage, so he's able to just play aggressive, and that allows Minpoike time to move in. He's going to get a Hammer of Justice. Alec is trying to cross the map now for a potential Psychic Scream, but he ends up getting silenced, and it's not dispelled just yet, but in the meantime, Minpoike's landed a full Repentance, and now Dizio and Flappers are both going to be feeling the pressure of Tempo Storm.
Oh, beautiful job by Minpoike, but as I say, that Alec getting lower and lower Dispersion is forced out, but Minpoike had a very nice fake there on that Hammer of Justice to actually land that full Repentance, where they're getting all of this pressure. Now, a Fear under Relza. He has to play catch-up at this point. Flappers has nothing left in terms of defensive. Dizio now activating the aspect of the turtle. Everyone is rotting down. Relza just having a nightmare situation here where you just can't get these heals off, and Minpoike chasing him down, looking for the Repentance once again. Kick over onto Relza. They're just slowing him down, but Minpoike is running out of defensives as well. The only thing left for Tempo Storm is that Void Shift. Flappers now into a kidney shot. Dizio, Relza, Flappers all running away. This is the first time we've seen this from Reformed, where they have to play so defensive that they aren't that far away from winning.
Yeah, I mean, Poike's team is all inning basically for a kill early on. They've nailed a lot of crowd control on Relza, which is why he's so far behind, but it's a risky play because Minpoike is also in a freezing trap at this moment. Alec is dipping initially low, barely catches a heal. Evasion used by Nixie, so he doesn't get cleaved down, but Alec is still taking the brunt of this. Minpoike uses the Blessing of Protection, gets perched off, and now Alec is out in the open. Dizio is free-raining aim shot after Flappers is low at the same time as both of these teams go head-to-head, as we were saying yesterday, just taking it to the maximum face right there. That was an interesting match. It was nice to see Reformed kind of get challenged in terms of aggression.
And look, this is the counter comp working, and you know,
barely working though.
So in that previous setup, nobody has defensives, and you can see Flappers getting kidney shot right away. Another offensive bump from Alec. He gets a nice silence there, and now he's gonna get that double Shadow Word Death. With
out of this on top, will have the clear advantage and be on match point for the rest of this series.
Yeah, what we saw Tempo Stormer, what we saw Reform do in the last game, pardon me, is put all their crowd control on him in Poike and basically just relentlessly train down Alec, try and shut him down with interrupts, and slowly get through those Holy Pally cooldowns.
Flappers actually securing a sap and immediately opening up on Alec. He's been getting his kidney shot actually earlier on, and Alec's actually going to use his human racial to get out of that stun so he can get his damage over time effects or a potential massive spell. Full blind him, and Poike's actually playing Relentless, so this could easily be the dispersion, but they land a nice counter spell. They need enough damage to bang out a kill with that, but it's not enough. And now Minpoike caught into a cheap shot, actually uses his human racial to use a sacrifice, and it's not going to be enough to really get anything else. It seems like Flappers is now the one in trouble with Vendetta popped by Nixie just ticking away. Relza caught into a Hammer of Justice, and Poike is also playing Avenging Crusader, so he's able to do a bonus damage through his healing cooldowns. Flappers is still just hanging on very low HP, caught into a stun, and Relza opts to Trinket and Sacrifice. And Tempo Storm are getting a lot more cooldowns by focusing the Rogue this game instead of the Mage, but Alec on low HP forced to use the Dispersion, so constantly back and forth.
Yeah, but Minpoike playing melee wings, he does not have the 2 sacrifices, he does not have the 2 Blessing of Protections to really help out Alec. He is super vulnerable in this situation. Fear now over on Relza. You can tell Tempo Storm has changed up their target. Flappers is the target of choice. He's now caught into the kidney shot with the silence over on Relza. Flappers trinkets out immediately, keeping that pressure onto Alec with the polymorph on him, and Poike is playing Relentless too. He has no trinket. Life swap comes in, and Poike still has that bubble available as well. Gelu trying to put some pressure on him in Poike, but he gets on the Divine Steed out of line of sight. He's going to be completely fine, but Alex still just being trained down relentlessly by Flappers.
I don't see any way for Tempo Storm to win this game at this point. I mean, Relza has Divine Shield. He's going to activate it right away with the Avenging Crusader. Now Minpoike is in a full polymorph. This should just be the end of the game with Alec having nothing left. There's so much damage. Can Tempo Storm deal with it? Minpoike is doing everything in his power to keep Alec going, but the Vendetta has been popped. A triple Fear from Alec might buy him the time that he needs to survive, but the damage is just so high. I don't know how Minpoike is keeping this up. Even with the Avenging Crusader, Alec hasn't got up above half HP. A Hammer of Justice is going to close this game out, I think. Alec hanging on at 10%. He's still barely alive, and Tempo Storm have somehow managed to survive, but it doesn't matter. Ultimately, another full polymorph has been secured. Alex doing anything he can to try and get a Master Spell, but a Dragon's Breath onto the entire team is going to close it out. And Reform seem to be very polished with Gelu on this Fire Mage, and it's a great pick for this counter pick to their jungle.
Yeah, I feel like Tempo Storm made a big mistake in this matchup.
I feel like it was a mistake as well. I don't know how Alec was able to stay up as long as he did, because he was just marked for death very clearly. It was the writing was all have that advantage. Has Tempo Storm outpicked themselves? That may be the case here. Reformed on match point, trying to find Tempo Storm's fall on Ashmane's fall.
Yep, nice one, Rich. The gates have opened. Reformed is 1 win away, and they could easily take it, but it is favored to Tempo Storm. Let's see how Alec is going to deal with the pressure. Obviously, Reformed is a team that does the most damage in the game, and if you're a Shadow Priest, that can be a scary amount of damage to have dished out to you.
Yeah, Repentance on Relza once again. You can see Relza actually playing Relentless this game, so not opting to go with that Trinket, just wants all these CCs to be a little bit less, but that can end up being a painful experience against a comp like Shadow Priest Rogue Paladin. Silence now on Relza. Flappers going through both survival instincts at this point. Bash over on him in Poike. Alex down to around 40% HP. This jungle doing a lot of damage, forcing out that dispersion relatively early.
Yeah, and he actually got Bursting Shot, which removed all of his bleeds from Flappers. I'm wondering if he even needed to use the Dispersion there. It might have been an overcommitted cooldown. Now we're going to see a lot of damage going towards Alec as Incarnation is used by Flappers. Relza is sitting through a full blind and Repentance. He's opted to play Relentless this game, realizing that the crowd control chain was very long, so he wants to reduce a large portion of it rather than trinketing through the middle of it. And I think that's a nice decision from Relza. It's allowing his team to stay a lot more healthy this game.
Oh, Dizio and Flappers did a great job running away while Relza was CC'd there, just running running around the pillar, making sure Alec could not get any CC out. Poike using that trinket. Alec getting lower. Is it going to be the life swap? Double fear coming in from Alec onto Relza. Dizio activating that aspect of the turtle as he has rotted down from all this dot damage coming in from Temple Storm. Flapper's in some trouble as well. Caught into the Hammer of Justice. Nice job with that survival instincts. He's going to be line of sighting a little bit in bear form. Frenzied Regen comes out, trying to kite away, allowing Relza to top him off. Pain Suppression comes in. Archangel as well, but Relza just cannot find the heals as Dizio gets lower and lower, but Alec could be in some trouble as well. Poike going through that last defensive cooldown.
Yeah, the Divine Shield has been blown. Alec has nothing left as both teams race to the finish. Blessing Protection is the last stand for Alec. Flappers basically has nothing. Dizio has nothing. They're both at half HP. The next crowd control on Relza is going to end the game. They life grip Dizio back to the pillar, but they walk into a triple fear. Any crowd control on Relza will end this as Vendetta has been popped, and Dizio is likely to fall. He's trying desperately to counter the aggression with a Wyvern Sting, but he's just so dangerously low. He's somehow staying alive. Relza's doing his best. A bursting shot him in Poike, but there's no trap diminishing return available. They get the dispersion despite it. It's still a race to the finish. They interrupt Poike on the following heal. Sacrifice is now available though. Flappers is caught into a full stun, and Alec is raining fire from that Void Form. There's a ton of damage as Tempo Storm tie this up, and we move to game number 5.
Man, these have been really fun to watch, but this is one of those things where that easily could have gone either way, but ultimately Tempo Storm going to be able to get it going with their counter pick. Very first matchup of the day. We're going to be going to a game 5 in the lower.
For an Outlaw Rogue, an Arcane Mage is a nightmare. Gil is basically going to have a field day in this matchup. I do think Temple Storm has some win conditions. They can catch Flappers in a stun, they can catch Relza in a stun, and ultimately take them down.
I'm curious to see if Jamie is going to just play defensive. We already see Poike and him paired up together. They've been a good duo defensively, and they're just going to run around this pillar, I think, and wait for an opportunity to strike. Enhancement Shaman is a bunch of front-loaded burst, and then they can run away, wait for that burst again, and then make another push. We see Gello right on top of both Poike and Jamie as they're going to pull the trigger with an immediate polymorph secured early on. This is a great start for Reformed. How is Jamie going to deal with this early on? He's used Stone Form to remove the initial rupture that Flappers dished out there, so that's going to make him a bit more tanky, but he still needs to line of sight. Poike traded out his trinket, so that's no longer going to be available. I imagine he traded up for the blind. Flappers is actually the target for now from the team of Tempo Storm, as they might make a swap to Relza. They're going to go all in. Relza uses a human racial and lands a Psychic Scream onto 2 members. I love those healer swaps. I think Relza is going to be the kill target ultimately if Tempo Storm have a win condition here.
Yeah, cheap shot on Poike. Can they get any follow-up CC? Doesn't look like it. Obviously, Relza just used his fear, so that's not going to be available for them. And Gelu, he's kind of being forced out of this room. I think that Jamie and Nixie are doing a good job making it difficult for him as Flappers gets swapped to in a full stun as well. He gets life grip to safety. Jamie's still getting low, but I think just turtling out in this room is working out very nicely for Tempo Storm. They can really punish Flappers or Gelu for trying to push in and land that CC onto Poike.
See a full blind sap secured onto Relza by Nixie as they are trying to build momentum on Flappers. Tricks the trade there onto Jamie. He's going to be doing a bunch of damage for the next couple of seconds. A Wincher on the heel of Relza. Flappers dipping low. They're really trying to get an evasion. They're really not finding it though. Mana is in favor of Poike. Tempo Storm, if they can keep up this defense, are looking strong. Jamie still has a lot of defensives. A full fear secured. Relza caught into a stun. They're not able to really capitalize on it too much. Now Relza can move in. A polymorph secured onto Poike from Gelu. He's trying to fake cast the kick of Nixie so he can secure another polymorph. Blinks back. He actually used both blinks, so he can't get back to Jamie. Nixie kind of pressured Gelu into that error, and now Gelu's basically stuck outside the room. Jamie's going to have an easy time to recover while Poike is just waiting for that trinket to reset.
Yeah, I wonder if Reform should change up their strategy here. Kick over on him and Poike. Double interrupt, actually. Full kidney shot onto Jamie, so he's still a little bit scared. He uses the Astral Shift to make himself more tanky, so shouldn't be dying in the situation. And Poike basically able to free cast as well. Stun over onto Relza as they make another big swap over onto him. Pain Suppression going to be used. Archangel as well. Relza should be able to survive with that cooldown trade, but that is a big victory for Temple Storm there. Plunder Armor still going to be available for Nixie, and Relza, he does not have a trinket left. They get one more decent swap onto Relza, he could just easily fall.
All right, Gello using the Mass Invis to try and break up the crowd control chain on his healer there. Jamie getting life gripped back into the room. He doesn't want to be exposed in the open. There's no defensive cooldowns for Jamie. Poike uses his trinket, likely Pain Suppression before any more crowd control, and he does immediately use it to answer Flapper's Vendetta. Jamie needs to survive for another 14 seconds and then look to make a swap to Relza later on. So we see Jamie just hiding in the corner. He actually soaks a counter spell. It's very important for Poike so he can free cast heals. Gello needs to secure a poly here. They've got an opening, but Nixie is shutting it down. Nixie needs to keep Gello flow constantly interrupted on these polymorphs. Jamie's going to win share him. Jamie just needs to survive a couple more seconds. Even they can play it really safe and wait another 25, but they need to get the human racial from Relza. They go for the stun. He pre-barriered it. They're hoping this barrier will be enough to hold on to the human racial, and it will be. Nice play from Relza.
Yeah, and he still has the Archangel as well as the Rapture. Swap over on the Flappers now with the Gouge over on the Relza. Meantime, when Poike got caught into a polymorph, Jamie taking a little bit of damage. That was the Doom Winds coming in from Jamie as he gets bursted down lower and lower by Gelu. And Flappers, Jamie now having to kite a little bit as Minpoike pops that Archangel to empower his heals, top him off. Fear now on him, Minpoike, nicely done by Relza playing on top of him. But a stun over onto Relza, as you can see, Nixie trying to create some pressure, but Jamie nowhere to be found.
Okay, there's really nothing for Flappers Vendetta, and he's gonna just press that on Jamie. Unless they kill Flappers, they got 3 seconds to do it. Do they have the damage? They're trying to find it with the Tricks of the Trade bonus, but it's not enough, and Jamie has to run away. There's basically nothing for him. Kidney shot secured. If there's a polymorph landed on Minpoike, Jamie is going to die, and there's gonna be nothing he can do about it. But there's no crowd control.
Vendetta
free. He's spamming up powered shields. Any polymorph from Gelu will end the game. He's gouged up though. A full fear has been secured from Relza. He's out of mana, but they're out of time. Jamie's not going to be able to survive. He squeaks back into the room, but with Vendetta ticking, Reformed are going to claim victory in advance just at the final seconds before Relza was completely out of mana. Nixie is still going to try to put up a bit of a fight. Obviously, they don't want to just throw it away just yet until they absolutely want to give it away, and now it seems to be the point. They were very close though. Relza was out of mana. They just ran out of cooldowns before that critical mass hit.
The remnants of the current reigning BlizzCon champions go up against a team that is the first to qualify for BlizzCon this year.
Yeah, so right here, this was like the breaking point of the game. You can see Relza finally managing to land that fear, and at this point, Jamie doesn't really have much to work with. That fear alone is actually going to secure it, and I really like what Gelu is doing here. He actually went in to try to shoot up